Okay, so what I saw in your model was really breaking it down into two sections. That top form that I would want to rough in, and then that bottom section for the silhouette. And right off the bat, when I look at things, I want to overbuild them. That's what I like to do. What I want to do here quickly is I'm going to pull that up on the Miro board so I can have it as a reference as we talk. So again, we always want to look at it. I see so many people trying to do things where trying to do everything at once. Do one surface at all times. Let me find you here. So I'm just looking at my other screen to see where you are here, Roger. You're still, come on. There we go. Oh wait, did you have your stuff on the new grid? Oh, there we are.
On the new.
Yeah, you just called yourself R. Bryant instead of Roger.
Yeah.
Took me a second there. Okay, so there we go. Okay. So what I'm looking at is I'm seeing this, and what I'm trying to envision is what does this look like untrimmed? You know,
Yeah.
how do I look at this as if it was a block of wood or a chunk of clay? What am I going to remove? What am I going to build? So again, this is kind of a side view. I'm also looking at your curve here. Here, let's do this. We're gonna download that. And then I'm not gonna worry about too much from a standpoint of size and everything. So we're gonna come in here, sketch tools, sketch picture, which is going to allow us to bring in that image.
Okay.
So we just downloaded that. So it's going to be in my download folder. That's going to be today. It should be that. I don't know how large it is. I'm just going to kind of move it. What do we got? Ooh. Okay. There we go. So what I want to do is we've got a couple different things here. So I'm going to use this as my path. I want to use, when I say that, what I mean is I want to take this spline, and that's kind of, I feel like this is a side view, and it would be a wing that would hang over like this. So I want to use this as the path that I would sweep along. And again, we talked about this the other day. I like to overbuild. And the reason I like to overbuild is I don't want to start here and end here. Because if I'm going to trim back, I don't have any of that extra space. So we're going to come in, make sure, oh, I'm on the front plane. In case you didn't realize, when planes get big like this, you can grab the corners and just condense them. So we're going to go to the front plane. We're going to go sketch. And again, I like to use my style splines. For the most intent, I'll start there. And again, if I can do it with something with fewer points, then that's what I'm going to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to match up with what you've got. You've got a very, very nice, loose gestural curve. From a sketching standpoint, I love the sketch. You did not try to draw the perfect line on the first try. You made a couple sweeps and then found the one you like. Don't lose that. Okay? So now I've kind of roughed it in a little bit. You can see here it's not perfect. You've got yours. Yours is a little bit flatter, so I'm going to adjust to get it a little bit more tight. We'll drop this down here. And we'll kind of say that that looks good. Now, I want to make sure we've got that curve in there. We need to be a little bit more precise. So what does that look like? So I want to make sure I turn on my curvature columns, because I want to see what's going on. You can kind of see here where we've got the arc, but then it really flattens out. Between here and here, there's not much curvature. So the question is, when we're thinking about a highlight, if this is flat, that means as the curve, as the highlight rolls over, it's going to slow down and be more of a panel. So it's not going to go fast. It'll start here, it'll go fast, slow down, and then pick up speed again. So imagine driving down a hill.
Yeah.
Steady speed, pick up. Now, do we want it to be more constant curve like that, or are we liking that overall look? This is where coming in is going to help us when we start evaluating in the surfaces. So right off the bat, I'm going to pretend that I'm interpreting your design. I'm going to say, well, I don't think we want to flat there. We want this to be speed. We want this to be, what were your words?
Sleek and futuristic or something.
Okay, so for me, sleek is not a flat planar surface. You know, if someone was saying clean and simple, well, maybe nice and flat. So I'm going to look at it, and no matter what I do, if I want to get that, I'm limited using my 2 points.
Yeah.
So I'm going to right click. I'm going to insert a control vertex. I'm going to say put one there. And then I'm going to come back. And I'm going to go and I'm going to adjust a little bit more. And now, so now you can kind of see, I don't like where it's flat there. It's a little too low there. But now you can kind of start seeing that we're starting to get more of an accelerated curve.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, if I look at this, it is a little flat between here and here. So this is where, as a designer, you sit there and say, okay, well, do we want to do that or not? So if I look at your design here a little bit further, there we go. So now we've got somewhat of a dynamic, sleek kind of, what's it look like? Looks like a slug. Shape. And this is where, okay, great, good enough. There's only so much we can dink around with it, because then you want to play with it when you see it in the full shape.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to come, and you're going to learn something that I have not taught the other students yet. So now what we want to do is we want to build the curves that we're going to sweep along. So, oh, look, let me come back here. There we go.
Have a good day.
So what we want to do now is we want to build the profiles that we're going to sweep across. What happened there? Hold on a second. Oh. There. So we want to build our surface that's going to go along that area. Now, here's the thing. I could come in and say, okay, well, I'm going to build a curve right there. So let me put a plane there. So we're going to take this plane. We'll go insert reference geometry plane. And I'm going to put it right there because that's where we want that curve to start.
Yeah.
Now, if I do a sketch on here, and I'm just going to do this quick. So what I'm doing is I want to make sure at the center it's smooth. So that's why I'm making that. And what I did is I took that tangency and I said I want it to be horizontal. So that means that at this center point here, it's tangent. It's always like this.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Let's take a look at this. Let me just move that in. When I sweep this surface, I'm going to see if I can draw this. So I've got that arc or that line doing that. And then I've drawn a curve right here from a side view that looks like that.
Yeah.
When it sweeps the surface, what it's going to do is it's going to take this curve and it's going to follow along that path. But that curve stays perfectly straight vertical. That's not necessary. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Not really, no.
Okay, so let me see if... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'll sweep it. Okay. So see how it ends up down here?
Yeah.
So this is starting, and what we can do is twice. So it starts here, and literally the curve does this. It doesn't follow and rotate along the path.
Okay.
Now, what you want, let me just do this, we'll hide this. So notice how, if you follow this arc, it tapers down. Here you've got a straight line. So what you want to do, the natural surface, the natural direction of that curve would be at a 90-degree angle. See how that cone ends like that?
Yeah.
So your surface would kind of go along that path. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a plane that I can sketch on. And we'll take a look here in a second. We'll see what happens. So if I come in here, we're going to sketch on that plane. Oh, whoops, no, hold on. Sorry. So you can see the difference. So this was the plane that I sketched the first time on, straight up and down. Now this plane is in the natural progression of, if I arc that curve, my hand runs down like this. So if I follow a surface, my hand does this.
Right.
It doesn't do this.
Right.
So we want to get that on there. So I'm going to come in. We'll go sketch. So now, if I come in and do this swept, notice those notice how these isoparms kind of rotate as it goes.
Yeah.
So let me just do that. And then, here, let me do something here. Okay, so if I come in now, so if we look at the first surface we swept, see how it dives down here? And see how it ends down here?
Yeah.
So that's not the natural shape. Like, that's not going to get you the shape that you want. If we come in, and let me just go to Keyshot here. I lost my go to Keyshot tools. Oh no, there they are.
Wait, how did you do that?
Hmm?
How did you do that?
The Keyshot plugin I told you all about last semester?
Oh, yeah. So, no, because my computer would crash.
Oh.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Okay, so here is the one we did first. Here is the one we did second.
Oh.
Now let me paint. No, I don't want ripple. There. Okay. So the surfaces look very, very similar.
Yeah.
Where it differs is in these corners and how it folds down, which eventually plays into effect when you're looking at it or when you're drawing it, but then when you model it, it doesn't look the same. It's because the way you're drawing it, at no time did you draw your pencil and and take that and do this. So you get these weird shapes. And what you can see here is, see, it dives down so much deeper down here. So when you're trying to match your sketch and you're trying to use that, you won't get the same results. So you want to make sure that your curves are going in that natural way.
And that's from adding the plane.
That's right. That's from making sure that your curves are in the same natural direction that the surface is intended to go. Okay, so let's hide that. Now, with this model, I need to take this and drop it down and do that. Because I think that's going to get us that look that you wanted. Okay, whoops. So now that we've got the start of the top surface, the next step is to draw the silhouette of what we want and what that's going to look like. So the question is do we draw it from a top view? Do we draw it from the side view? How is this going to look? And really sometimes, especially when you're learning, you know, it's trial by error. But it's one of those things, well, if the side view looks really wrong, instead of spending 2 hours trying to make the side view work, go, wait a second, let me go by the top view. Let me see if that gets us there. So I'm going to start with the top view. And again, I'm taking a little bit of latitude. So on the top view, I'm going to draw a sketch, and we know that we want it to wrap around. And this is where, if you were to go into the modeling, having it worked out in your head is extremely valuable. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to go I'm going to cheat. I want to make sure this is tangent. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to make sure it's vertical. Just like I did with that other one. So I always know it's tangent there. And you can see by making it tangent, I can't tilt it. So I'm going to come over here, I'll make that tangent as well. And then we know that it drops way down. And again, I look at that, it looks decent. I still want to toss curvature combs up. Oh, not construction. I want to toss curvature combs on it, just to see what I'm getting. So I'm going to say, oh, you know what? I'm just looking to get the outside surface done, the form. So I'm going to say, okay, let me go and I'm going to go insert curve, split line. I've got the sketch already. I'm in the sketch, so it automatically knows it. I'll grab that surface. I'm going to do that. You can see that we've kind of got it deep now. Well, what I can then do is I can look at it and say, oh, okay, how's it looking? Well, not quite, because it's not dropping down far enough. So let's pull that out further. Ooh, way too much. And I can sit there and play with it now. And I can come back and say, is that getting me what I want? I don't think it is, because I think I want this further up here. You know, am I liking that? Let's just come back and we're going to go and delete face. You know, like, are we happy with that? I don't personally know. I don't think it's giving us what we want. You know, is it a matter that it doesn't wrap down far enough? Or what is it that's going on? I'm going to say, you know what? I don't think going from the top view was right. Now, it may take you longer to play with it to discover that doesn't seem to be working. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go, well, let me try it from this side.
From the side view?
Yeah. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to go and do a sketch. I don't have nearly enough points for this sweep. And I need one more. Oh, so in order to create a split line, it has to go fully through the surface. And where I had it edge at that point, it has to actually come up like this. So it comes all the way through. So I'm not going to dink around too much with it.
Would another point not work?
Oh no, yeah, you could do more points. There's only so much I can.
Like,
go ahead.
huh? Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, would it like mess up the like how it would form?
No, I don't think so.
Like, too many points. Okay.
I mean, you want to be careful of getting too many points. I'm going fast, so I'm not spending as much time. But you can see here, we've got it to be a little bit nicer. Now the nice thing is, if SolidWorks is going to work with me, I can pull these curves and manipulate it a little bit better. So you can see I'm starting to get what I like there. Now I don't like this being way up there, so let's... So it's a matter of now just kind of playing with it and tweaking it and getting it to the way that you want it. So I look at this and I think, well, that looks better than what I had from going from the top view.
Mm-hmm.
Now, then it's a matter of, well, how are we going to get this to be nice and rounded and to play with that? Because if we come in, and this is one of those things where build the model, okay, what do I need to do? Well, I don't like how that form comes down. You know, I want this to come out straighter first and then drop down. What are we going to have to do? We can go in and say, okay, I don't like that edge, but how does the form look? If I come in and update KeyShot, you know, how are we liking that form? Does this drop down too much? You know, so this is where there's a lot of tweaking and playing. So, because if we come in, let's look at it from the side view. And this is where we get into trouble. That's very similar to the side view.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do it in perspective, it's not that perfect clean line because it's got to wrap up and around.
Yeah. So would you do the front?
No,
You would cut.
you mean to cut it?
Yeah, cut the front.
No, what I'm saying this is where you learn that a side view sketch that you created
Yeah.
may not be beautiful when it's in 3D.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this is why, ooh, I like that. Now the question is if you like that side view silhouette, because that looks pretty close to what you had, or
Mm-hmm.
the essence,
Yeah.
you know. So how do we get that? How do we fix that a little bit to make it a little bit nicer? Is this that this is diving down too much? Or is this what you like and it's like, hey, that's the form I like. Does that still have the essence?
Yeah.
So we achieved this. It's a little, okay, so it's a little bulbous in comparison. Like it's not nearly
Yeah.
as,
I think it's pretty.
but the,
Yeah, longer.
yeah,
More width.
I mean, you've got to play with it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm looking for you guys to be at right now. Like,
Okay.
what I would like you to do is, because I don't want to show you the whole thing because I think that's just going to, like, if you can get to this stage and play with that, I think that's a good progression.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm looking for from students.
Okay. My computer is about to
Die.
split me out. Yeah. I gotta run to a charger.
Run! Run! I'm going to stop recording here.